Steve Hilton is with us. Now, he's the former strategy director for David Cameron. He's the author of the book, More Human. Do you see that parallel? I do. I mean, the establishment was all over the British vote, oh, please don't leave Europe, and they did. And the establishment is saying, oh, please don't vote for Donald Trump, and a lot of people will. Is that a valid parallel here, Steve?
I think you're absolutely right, Stuart. There is a parallel there, and I think the real point is that for decades now, almost irrespective of who's been in power, whether that's Conservatives or Labour in the UK or Republicans or Democrats in the White House here in America, there's been this rule by an insular ruling elite of technocrats and bureaucrats and plutocrats in big business that have pushed forward a set of policies that have certainly benefited them and the wealthiest, but have left many, many millions of people behind on low incomes and losing their jobs. And what you're seeing really is a revolt against that. You saw it with the Brexit vote, and you're seeing it here. And by the way, I think it's not just limited to the Trump phenomenon. I think it was the same thing driving a lot of the support for Bernie Sanders on the left.
I've got to bring your attention to a story. It's a front page of the New York Times today. They interviewed Donald Trump before the convention coverage of yesterday. They did the interview, and Trump emerges as someone who says he might not jump to the defense of fellow NATO countries if attacked, and he's suggesting that we should fix our own mess before we get involved overseas. Now, that's pretty not radical stuff, but it's very different stuff on foreign policy from Donald Trump. What do you make of it?
I think it's another example of how he's challenging actually the failed approaches and the failed policies that have been in place for years. Every time he says something that's original or different, people jump on it and say, well, that's crazy, how can he possibly do that? All he's saying is that the other members of NATO should pay their fair share. I don't see what is unreasonable about that. And in fact, I know that President Obama made exactly the same point to David Cameron when David Cameron was saying that he, when leading the UK, wouldn't pay the 2% of national income towards defense spending that the US government wanted to see. So Obama was putting pressure on Cameron to do that. So all that Trump is saying is that he would do the same. He's just doing it more openly.
Okay. Steve Hilton, always a pleasure. Come and see us again soon. Thank you, Steve.
Great to be with you.